So what happens when two completely different Pokémon fuse into one? In frozen wastelands, Feraligatr stalks its prey with ruthless precision. A chilling fusion of glacial power and primal ferocity. Across scorching deserts, Flisheram glides as a radiant apex predator, merging blinding heat with draconic elegance. In ancient jungles, Tyresept reigns supreme. A ruthless fusion of primal strength and razor-leaf precision. In silent twilight forests, Lucatails moves with mystical precision. A graceful apex predator blending spiritual aura with ancient fire. In tranquil waters, Psilotic glides with mesmerizing grace. A serene apex being where elegance and hidden power intertwine. Amid blazing battlefields, Samashirum stands unyielding. A noble apex guardian forged from radiant fire and unbreakable resolve. So what happens when two completely different Pokémon fuse into one? In the darkest abyss, Garchados emerges as a brutal apex predator, blending the fury of the ocean with the dominance of the desert skies. In scorching coastal winds, Sharkarona hunts with primal instinct, a blazing fusion of oceanic speed and volcanic fury. High above storm-racked peaks, Zekairizard dominates the skies, a relentless fusion of blazing fire and crackling lightning. Where raging seas meet unforgiving stone, Tyrandra rises as a relentless apex predator, merging oceanic grace with crushing terrestrial. In the deep rifts between space and sky, the powerful fusion Jiraquaza appears, shaking reality itself with a dark dragon storm attack. In shadowed wetlands, Swampert strikes without warning. A silent apex predator blending swamp-born power with spectral speed. So what happens when two completely different Pokémon fuse into one? Across timeless waters, Suiga moves with divine authority. A legendary apex being where flowing grace meets the power of time itself. In enchanted forests, Zernatails radiates ancient life energy. A mystical apex being where eternal grace meets spectral flame. Along ancient shores, Cabucario strikes with lethal precision. A relentless apex predator where primal blades meet disciplined aura. Across prehistoric skies, Aramance soars as a savage apex predator, where ancient fury meets draconic supremacy. In scorching deserts, Hydreigon reigns as a chaotic apex predator, where relentless sandstorms meet unyielding draconic fury. Across storm-lashed waters, Raikun moves with electrified grace. A legendary apex predator where thunder meets the tides. So what happens when two completely different Pokémon fuse into one? Beneath ancient forests, Venudril burrows with unstoppable force. A savage apex guardian where primal earth meets blooming power. Across frozen volcanic plains, Cindorus roams as a radiant paradox. An ancient apex guardian where glacial majesty meets emberborn fury. Within cybernetic jungles, Geneseptile hunts with ruthless precision. A lethal apex predator where primal nature meets engineered annihilation. Across thunderswept deserts, Amphigon glides with radiant dominance. A legendary apex predator where electric storms meet ancient sand. Under burning suns, Salgarus marches with celestial dominance. A radiant apex titan where solar majesty meets blade-forged brutality. Across frozen infernos, Volcarium reigns as a catastrophic apex force, where glacial extinction collides with volcanic rebirth. So what happens when two completely different Pokémon fuse into one? In dense jungle canopies, Sizacross dominates with relentless precision. A brutal apex predator where steel meets unstoppable strength. In frozen battlefields, Inferneon thrives as a paradoxical apex predator, where biting frost clashes with unstoppable flame. In smoldering jungles, Slakedirge lumbers with terrifying authority, a dominant apex predator where volcanic fury meets overwhelming brute force. Beyond mortal realms, Arctu exists as a transcendent apex entity, where divine creation meets unrivaled psychic dominance. Above silent oceans, Lugiapult moves unseen. A spectral apex predator where oceanic power meets ghostly speed. Under eclipsed skies, Lunaltal descends as a harbinger of balance, where lunar shadow meets the raw force of destruction.